Daily motivation: how guilt demotivates us in the present day. Hey there, welcome to your daily dose of motivation. Today, we're diving deep into a powerful emotion that many of us deal with every single day, often without even realizing it: guilt. More specifically, we're going to explore how various sources of guilt impact our motivation and how it demotivates us in ways we might not even recognize. You know, guilt is one of those emotions that creeps into so many areas of our lives. It stems from different sources: faith, religion, societal expectations, personal judgments, and they all weigh us down in unique ways. And when we're weighed down by guilt, it's like carrying a heavy backpack while trying to run a marathon. It's exhausting, and it slows us down, sometimes to the point where we stop altogether. Let's start with one of the most common sources of guilt: guilt tied to faith or religion. If you've ever felt like you aren't living up to spiritual expectations, you know what I mean. Whether it's the guilt of not adhering to certain religious practices or feeling like you've strayed from a path of righteousness, it can make you feel like you're not enough. And when we constantly feel like we're not measuring up, it's easy to lose motivation to improve or even engage in other areas of life. You begin to doubt your self-worth, which eats away at the drive to pursue your goals. Then there's guilt tied to our upbringing and societal values. Think about the expectations that were placed on you growing up, whether from your parents, your family, or even your community. Were you ever made to feel guilty for wanting to pursue a career that wasn't considered respectable? Or maybe for not conforming to certain traditions or roles that were expected of you? This kind of guilt can be suffocating because it pulls you in directions that don't align with who you truly are. And when you live with that tension, motivation fades because your goals feel disconnected from the person you're told you should be. We also experience guilt imposed by institutions, schools, workplaces, you name it. Ever felt like you didn't perform well enough at work or school, even though you gave it your all? Maybe you weren't the top student, or you didn't get that promotion. The judgment we face in these environments often plants seeds of guilt. You start to feel guilty for not meeting certain standards, whether those are grades, deadlines, or other performance metrics. And this guilt is deeply demotivating. Instead of being inspired to try harder, it can lead to fear of failure, causing us to shut down and avoid risks altogether. And let's not forget personal and professional judgments. We all hold ourselves to certain criteria, right? Whether it's being a good partner, a successful professional, or even just being the person others expect us to be. When we fall short of these expectations, we tend to beat ourselves up. This self-imposed guilt crushes our spirit. We think things like, "I should have done better," or "Why didn't I try harder?" This inner critic is relentless and can sap the energy we need to stay motivated and move forward. Another area that causes guilt is judgment based on race, culture, or color. Unfortunately, many of us are judged for things entirely out of our control. If you've ever experienced this kind of judgment, you know how it can make you feel like you don't belong. There's a societal pressure to fit into boxes that don't represent who you are. When you can't meet these impossible expectations, guilt sets in. You may feel guilty for not being enough of your culture or race, or for trying to fit into a culture that doesn't embrace who you are. This kind of guilt eats away at your motivation to push forward and be your authentic self. So why does guilt have such a powerful demotivating effect? It's simple. It keeps us stuck in the past, focusing on what we didn't do, what we failed at, or how we didn't meet someone's expectations. When we're consumed by guilt, we're not living in the present moment or thinking about the future. We're trapped. And that trap kills any sense of progress or personal growth. What's worse, guilt can make us feel unworthy. And if you don't feel worthy, how can you stay motivated to achieve anything? Get rid of every single guilt you have about anything and everything, with all the tools on this channel. It is meant to empower you beyond all conceptions that anyone will ever throw at you. I hope this video helps you recognize how guilt is influencing your motivation, and that it encourages you to start letting go of guilt that no longer serves you. Remember, you are enough just as you are, and you deserve to move forward, free of the burdens of the past. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. If you found this video helpful, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's open up a dialogue on how we can break free from guilt and rediscover our true motivation. Until next time, stay kind to yourself and keep pushing forward.